Dear friends, it is talk 4 about Wisdom Town. Probably the last one, but we will see how much I will be able to accomplish today. We were talking about potential industry and other ways of how Wisdom Town can contribute to the wellness of humanity and the world, not only humanity, as well as make income from that. So I talk about various kinds of electric vehicles. Now, as I said, we will come into much more controversial territory, and namely techno-agriculture. I call techno-agriculture. And particularly into something pretty horrible, which is called, at least it's viewed as horrible, GMO, genetically modified organisms. This thing exists for several decades and has extremely bad name, which deserves because it was used to large extent by, I already said, by a repeat, by Monsanto to produce the seeds which for corn, I believe, which can be another large-scale produced crops, which are resistant to this, to diseases and weeds, etc. And using that, which was absolutely not necessary, they managed that these seeds cannot be, once harvested, cannot be reproduced. So you have to buy from them seeds forever. And what was even worse, which I don't think they planned, but they were very happy about, that the wind can blow and pollinate the neighboring fields and make them again not produce seeds which can be reproduced. And Monsanto produced all sorts of other terrible things. The latest, which goes, is this Roundup, glyphosate, etc. That painted GMO in a very black thing and was banned in many countries, have to be labeled, etc. Which, as the provision, makes sense, though I would say that there is no yet proof that it is harmful, but potentially it can be. So I don't want to get involved into that. But there is a kind of GMO which, fortunately, have a different name called CRISPR. It's extremely difficult abbreviation, which I spare you. You could read about CRISPR to your delight on the internet, Wikipedia, etc., etc. It's extremely now in vogue, and rightly so, because there is no apparent danger, which can come from the technology which I am not describing, which you can read about. And because GMO introduce genes from different completely species, and in plants, genes from fish, etc., are not too cool, maybe not too cool. CRISPR, no, it modifies only from within existing genome, modifies existing genome. It is used, and it's very media make it popular for human, for diseases, etc. Well, I will not get into that, but it can be used for biotechnology, for incredibly development of completely safe plants, edible and in generally very, particularly herbs, medical herbs, and which could be again resistant to variety of diseases, insects, etc. And it is relatively it's much simpler than the classical, let's call GMO. And that where town industry could, for example, focus to produce species of plants, edible and other, or help in general environment which is in danger. And it will obviously be not only, of course, it will have very compassionate and benevolent thing, but it is also can make the biotechnology or agrotechnology, whatever we want to call it, within wisdom society attractive and interesting for external communities which may want to learn and benefit from that, and being and establish not just friendship by smiles and making talks, etc., but the actual actions and doing something. So that's one, and the second is the town could be specialized, for example, in producing extremely good quality, extremely well insulated houses. Because the problem with the well-insulated houses that they used usually products which are fairly environmentally very unfriendly. All there try to use some ancient method like mixing straw and clay, which is nonsense. That was great 10,000 years ago, but I think we moved along. And here we could definitely develop technology which will produce prefabricated, elegant wooden house, extremely well insulated, using minimal amount of concrete and other environmentally unfriendly products. And that does not need to, I think, promoting by me. And it's not difficult. It's not difficult. To a large extent, it is simple machinery and human effort. The third, but that I will not go into any details, is to develop robots. Again, not robots which try to be as intelligent as humans, which is actually, forgive me, that was my specialty. Impossible, because for many reasons, and at robots, nobody attempt even to make any creativity. They can solve certain simple problems. They can can work in environment when humans can't, etc. They can do certain things faster, but creativity is impossible. However, robots could be extremely useful for the things where the name came from. It came by, I think, I don't remember the title, by Czech writer, I think Čapek, and the robot means robota, it means work in Czech, in Polish as well. And they could do things, mechanical labor, which is completely doesn't require any creativity or, for that matter, any intelligence. Repetitive things like on a production line, putting a screw and screwing and then passing along where somebody else put another screw. That robots can do, and that they will be relatively easy to produce. So that's just a few snippets, so to speak, about what kind of things town in its size and it has a capacity and power to do. And since, repeating again, the work of it's based on cooperation, not competition, the results will be obviously far much better. So that is much I think I wanted to say about Wisdom Town. And I think next talk we will move on into general structure and economy of Wisdom Society. So goodbye by now.